Hello, Super Festival. Welcome to Make a Visual Novel for the Web. Today, we're going to teach you how to make a tiny visual novel that you can export to the web super easy using a program called Ink and your imagination. I'm Geoffrey Golden. I'm a narrative designer and game writer. I have written for Capcom, Ubisoft, Square Enix, and indie studios around the world. And with me is Josh. Josh, please introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, hey, I'm Josh Grahams. I'm actually a full-time organic farmer in rural Maine, but I do a lot of programming on the side and a bunch of stuff for IF. So,
And
um,
Josh is like the best. He's like the best. He's the best in the biz. He is so fast. He figures things out so quickly. It's that farmer's patience, I think is what it is. I think that's you've got that like you
it's that
bring that like
it's
farming
that like I've been
mentality.
programming for like 30 years and like mostly as a hobbyist. So like I do it professionally occasionally, but it's a lot of like, just doing what I find fun and just figuring stuff out. So lots of
Um,
practice.
Well, that's the way to do it is to have fun with it, I think. You know, and
Absolutely.
and I think that's the kind of project that we're talking about here in terms of visual novel. Like this isn't necessarily like make your console, Nintendo Switch like grand masterpiece visual novel. This is for like making fun, short little visual novels, maybe for a game jam, maybe just to test out an idea, or yeah, maybe just for fun on a weekend, just to see if you could do it. I think this tool is like perfect for that kind of thing. So we met. The story of how this template came to be is we met by way of a thing called Spring Fling, which is an interactive fiction festival that happens in the spring, and I submitted a game called Your Post-Apocalyptic To-Do List, and it did okay. It did all right at the festival. I enjoyed it. It was fun to make it. It was a weird experimental sort of game. The festival encourages weird experimental games. Anyway, they had prizes, and one of the prizes was the services of Josh Graham, an amazing UI designer. And I was like, oh, if I do well in this competition, that's my first choice for prize. The services of an amazing UI designer, like who wouldn't want that? You'd have to be an idiot not to pick that. What, you're gonna pick up some $5 Steam game versus the great services of a UI designer? Josh, why did you enter? Why did you volunteer to be a prize at the festival? It was such a cool thing for you to do.
I mean, it's a thing in the community, right? That people volunteer services. Somebody volunteered to like compose a song, I think, or something. Maybe that was IF Comp.
No, I
But
think that was this one
that
too.
was Spring Thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
But also
yeah,
I like working
but
with
it was
people.
just you.
I had just done a collaboration not that long before with some other people that's still a work in progress and was super fun. Um, but
It
it's
was
also it's kind of hard to get people to like say, "Hey, I want to work with you." But if you offer it as a prize, they're like, "Hey, this would be cool," instead of like, "Oh, I don't want to take up your time," and so
that is a good point, and maybe that's a good thing to learn right there. It's like if you want to be involved with the team, like make your services a prize because it makes it more attractive. But I think that though I think you and the gentleman who volunteered for to be I think you were the only two who did volunteer services because I believe he was my second choice of who I would want to work with, who what of the prize that I would want. Um, well, I was very fortunate in that I won your services as a prize, and I was so excited because I was working on an IF Comp game. So IF Comp is like the big interactive fiction festival competition that happens in the fall, and I was working on a game in Ink, which was my chosen scripting language, and we'll talk a little bit more about Ink. Um, but I was working on a game and I was like, I really could use like a great UI for it. And I had an idea for what it should look like, but I had no idea how to program it. And that game is called Fix Your Mother's Printer. which should be on the IF Comp website at this point. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if the competition, I think the competition will be over by the time this runs, but the game is still on the website. Yeah. And so the game is it's called Fix Your Mother's Printer. You are on a conference call with your mom, on a Zoom type call with your mom, and basically you are trying to help her fix her printer, all while having a discussion with her, and there are choices that come up. Like, oh, it's been a while since you called, hasn't it? Well, I called you last Sunday, remember? I've been extremely busy at work, or I guess. We'll say, I guess. Well, I don't, I guess. I know. See, mom is doesn't like it when you're short with her. And Josh, you built some incredible features into this template. You want to talk about some of the features that you built in? Because I think they're really cool.
Sure. I mean, I'm not sure what you're thinking of. I mean, obviously we have the visual novel style thing. Ink is usually, they have a very basic web template. Like Ink was originally designed to be built into like Unity games and stuff like that. So it doesn't have a lot of interface. But right. So yeah, obviously we have the picture of your mom, and you can, that your dog shows up at some point, so the images they can show around. We made a light and a dark theme if people like, those.
Yeah, that's so that's part of it. That's built into Ink, is the light dark theme, but for the web export. But you did a great job sort of translating that dark theme into a visual template, which is awesome. We also have the browser saving your game, so you can save you can save your file, you save your progress. And then you can load a game too, which is really cool. I
mean, the thing that the default Ink template doesn't do is that, you can just save into the browser. So it's sort of hard to see where they are. And this one, you can actually download it as a file.
Right.
Which is kind of handy in case you want to switch browsers, or I don't know.
It's exactly. Yeah, it's super cool. Or yeah, for trading
just backup
files.
Purposes. I don't know.
Hey, if you want to send your progress to somebody else to be like, oh, I found this cool thing,
or you might have to clear your cookies in your browser to make some other website work, and then you'd lose your save. So
that's right. Saving is like a big part of visual novels, so it's cool that we were able to like save your progress, loading a file into this, and we also have a restart game, which we can do as well. Sort of as we were wrapping up the UI portion of the game, working together, I think we both had kind of the same idea independently, which was that, like, wouldn't it be cool if like this was a template that we could offer to people anywhere, so that they could make their own Ink-based visual novels like this one?
Yeah, I don't even remember which one of us said it first. We're like, would you be okay if we like gave this to other people too?
Yeah, I think
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, I think exactly. It was very much a twins sort of an idea, and so that's what we did. So and that's what we're going to present you here with today. So this is like the pack-in template game with the Ink visual novel for the Ink visual novel template. Let's run through it together, and we'll see like what it does. We'll see like what it does, and then let's talk about how folks at home can use it. Okay, great. So narrator in the big city. Do you want to be Gertrude or Theodore?
Doesn't matter.
I'll be Gertrude. Okay, you be Theodore. Okay. Look at me, a young visual novel sprite in the big city. I wonder who I'll meet. Someone cool, maybe?
Hey, nice to meet you. I'm a cool VN sprite. Want to go out on a date with me?
All right. Should we go on the date, or should we not go on the date?
Maybe we should demonstrate what happens if she doesn't.
Yeah, okay. Nope.
Never. You're supposed to go on the date as part of the tutorial.
I don't have to go on any dates I don't want to, you jerk.
You're right. I need to learn feminism. Bye forever.
I'm single and that's okay by me. The end. And then we can click play again. You'll notice that the choices have a little dialogue text. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, so let's see what happens if we choose to go on the date. We'll meet someone cool, maybe. Yes, please. I'd love to go on a date with you.
It's gonna be the best date ever.
Later that evening. Thanks for asking. It was my line. Thanks. I went up on my line. Thanks for asking me out. It was very heteronormative of you.
Being heteronormative is kind of my thing.
The background changed. It looks nice.
You look nice.
Are we?
Is this?
Let's see. What happens if they kiss? We don't have a kissing cutscene, do we?
What? Oh man, come on.
The tutorial, I mean, the date is over. I think the two of us really love each other. Love wins. The end. Okay, great. So this template, this little pack-in game, this tiny little pack-in demo game, demo is the right word. This demo game is like basically designed to show the capabilities of the template. So, okay, what do we need in order to make a game with this template? Well, you need ink. Josh, can you explain what ink is? Specifically,
sure,
and Inky specifically the program.
Right. So ink is a language for writing branching dialogue, where you can basically just put in little asterisks and make like list items that are choices for the player to choose. And then you can go through and little arrows to say, oh, go to this part of the story. And then it has variables that you can do complex, remember what the player's seen and stuff. And then Inky is the editor that lets you edit this text file, and it'll save out to the web, or it'll save to a data file that, if you're a graphical game designer using Unity or whatever else, you can put ink scripts into your game.
That's right.
It works as a standalone. It'll build little standalone things for the web.
And you can get that at inklestudios.com/ink. So that's a free program and completely free to use for anybody to use. And it's really simple. I like to think of it as like, it's like screenwriting software, but for interactive, for visual novels, for choice-based games. It's very simple and easy to use. And I love it. It's really,
and I think it was one of the few tools that was developed by someone who was writing and who was saying, hey, let me think about how I would like to write this interactive script, and then we'll figure out how to make the computer do that.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And a lot of their games, Ink is a studio as well, Inkle Studios, and they release a lot of like choice-based games and stuff that use this engine. All right, and then we have our visual novel template, which you could get, and we're going to put I'll put the URL here, but you can get it at joshgrams.itch.io, and it's called Ink VN template. And this page that you're seeing will probably look a little different when you go to the website. We just kind of threw it up real quick for this, but we're recording this like a month in advance. So, but basically, it's a free template. If you want to donate, you can. But we're making it free to use. So have at it. Okay, so let's see. Once you download. So I'm going to do some tricky screen share business here. Okay, so once you download the template and you unpack it, you open the zip file, you'll get a folder that looks kind of like this. You'll get there'll be a folder here for audio.
Interesting. I don't think the audio recorded. But anyway, a couple of places in the demo, it plays little sounds. So
Yeah.
that's a thing
Oh,
that this
okay.
does as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I heard it on my end, but I'm not sure. Well, I guess when I'll
I
play
guess
it
we'll
back,
find
I'll
out.
see. Right, I'll see what happens.
There is audio in the demo.
But there is audio in the demo. That's right. So there's like an audio folder to put your audio files in. There's an IMG folder to put all your images in, and then there's this index.html,
I think the only
which
other
is
ones you care about are the story files, right?
yep. Okay, so next up we're going to go to story.inc, and that's the demo that we included in here.
Right.
So let's
So I
go.
think the thing is that the story.inc is the file that's your script that you're going to edit, and the story.js is the build version that the VN thing is going to be able to run.
That's right. So keep that in mind as you work. Okay, so here we are. We've opened up story.inc. This is the demo, but you'll be starting from scratch, or you could start from this if you want and edit it. But we built this demo to sort of show all the different things that the template could do. So yeah, let's dive right in. Okay, so right at the top, oh, by the way, okay, we're going to assume we won't assume that you have like advanced knowledge of ink, but we're kind of going to go past like some of like the ink base, like we're gonna go like past like the very ink basics. We'll get you up to speed. You should be able to edit, but we're not going to go deep into ink, is what I'm saying, in terms of like this isn't like an how to ink course, if that makes sense. But we will show you like how to use this particular template. Yeah, it's not that scary. I don't know, why am I building it up as like some big thing. Okay, so at the very top here are our variables. So I have a variable here called love. Love equals 0. So if you're making like a visual novel where like you're tracking like personality traits, or like whether or not like your characters like are falling in love or something like that, you can do that in ink with variables. So I made a very simple one here called variable love equals 0. Now there's this other variable here that's pretty important to the template. It's called variable strip underscore speaker underscore tags. Josh, you want to speak to that?
I sort of think let's come back to that maybe. Well, all right. So if you leave that out, it will show the speaker tags on like the NPCs, but it won't show them on the player's choices. You can set it to, wow, maybe we should have named that the other way around. Anyway, if you set it to false, it will not strip any of the tags. So you saw it said me on our choices, and it said the player's names on the the NPC's names on the other one. Or you can set it to true and just have no speaker tags on anything. They will still show up in the like history of the dialogue that you've seen.
So you're right. We will come back to it, but I'm going to set it to true.
You can leave this out, like it's not that big a deal. This is sort of a customization option.
That's right. Okay, so we have a little divert here, going to a scene called morning, which is here, and this is how we format like basically go to scene. So we'll say divert with a little a dash and
a little arrow. It says go that way.
Little arrow. It says go to morning, and then we do three equal signs, morning, 3 equal signs, and that sets up our scene. So okay, here I've got our first line, narrator : in the big city ... and then I've got this tag here.
Right. So these are like hashtags basically, except they can have spaces in them.
That's right. And these tags, they basically tell ink to load certain assets. So in this case, we have this hashtag, then img, then bg, and then we have the name of file. In this case, background-daytime png. So Josh, can you explain what's happening here with this line?
Sure. So so these tags just get passed straight through to the runner along with the line of text that they go with, and then it can just sort of do whatever it wants with them. So what we're doing here is hash img just says this is an image that we want you to do something with, and bg is a special name for the background image, and then you just give it a file name. And for the background, that's all you need. There's no parameters. It just fills the screen. This is a simple engine. That's all it does.
Right. That's great. Okay, so now we have set up the background. So that city background got set up in this line, and with the line narrator in the big city. Okay, the next line is Gertrude. Look at me. And similarly, we have hashtag IMG lady, and then the name of a file, lady happy PNG, and then 3 numbers after it, 90, 100, and 50. So this is kind of similar to background, but it's a little different, right?
Right. So what we're doing is we're saying we're image, and we're going to give it a short name. We're calling it lady, so that later on, if we want to get rid of it or move it or give it a different image, we know how to refer to it. And then we give it the file name.
So this
that could be anything. You can put whatever you want in there.
Right. Great. So that lady in this case refers to our character. That could be Gertrude, or could be whatever your character's name is, who's watching this. Yep. Okay, great. And so then we have
our first 2 numbers. Oh, sorry. Then we have our file name.
Then we have our file name, and this is the sprite that goes on top of the background layer. So in this case, we have lady. And then okay, and then what are these numbers?
So then the first 2 numbers are where it goes. So these are a percentage of the screen width and height. So 90 is she's most of the way over from the left to the right, right? It starts at the top left corner. So 90 is almost all the way over to the right, and 100 is all the way down at the bottom. And then that last number is how big she is. So that's 50% of the screen width, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, 50% of the screen width, exactly. So
of the sort of background width.
So I can show you. So let me do real quick so you can see it. So if we go back to our example here. So here we set up in the big city with our background, right? And then we click. And so here we are. Gertrude is at 50% of the width of of this area here. And then it's 10%, it's 10% over, right? And then what was the 100 again? The 100
means she's all the way down at the bottom.
She's hitting the bottom of the screen here. Great. Yep. Okay, great.
So unless you have some birds or something, probably everybody's just going to be 100%, right?
Right. Exactly. Okay, great. Then we have an audio tag. So this is hashtag audio, and then we do audio/car.mp3. Now, so this is a thing with the template. The image files know to look for a folder called image, but for audio, yeah, you need to put in the folder audio to get to the audio, just to make sure that it knows where it is. And then it will play an audio file. Now, this isn't like a cutting edge like audio system, right?
It's not even like background music and sound effects. It's like you can play one thing at a time, and that's it.
One short sound effect. So, but you can use the audio tag to sort of put sound effects in where throughout the thing.
Add a little pizzazz to your game.
Right. Okay. So then the next line here is Gertrude, a young visual novel sprite in the big city. Now, I didn't have to re-tag this line, right? Because it knows automatically, because I said that this is a Gertrude line, it's just going to take the information from here and sort of bring it over to here, right?
Well, I think the sprite just stays where it is. You didn't tell it to do anything different.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, the sprite just will just stay where it is, because we didn't tell it to change anything. We didn't tell it to change anything. But then in this next line, Gertrude, I wonder who I'll meet. We did tell it to change something. We say
lady, and then we give it a different image, and then we don't give it any numbers, so it just stays at the same position and size. It just flips the image to be, now she's not happy, she's listening.
That's right. So here I can demonstrate that here. So if we go back, we'll say, Gertrude, look at me. Now I hear the audio. I hear that.
See, I'm not hearing it, so I wonder if it's recording.
Oh, that's a weird thing. Well, it shows the icon there, so
Right.
we'll see. A young visual novel sprite in the big city, and then it says, "Here's the listening pose. I wonder who I'll meet next." So that's how that works. Great. Okay. Okay, great. So now we're going to add another sprite. This is Theodore here. And so on the right here of ink, you can it sort of does a little test. It shows you kind of what's going on here, and you can sort of play through it on the right side if you want to just test it within Inky. On the left side, this is where where it's really where it's happening. This is the editor here. So now we're going to bring in our second character, Theodore. Hey, nice to meet you. I'm a cool VN sprite. And now we're going to add a new sprite, and note the location here on the other side. We're doing at 10%. So it's going to come in on the left at 10%, but 100. So it's still adjusted to the bottom of the viewer. And then also 50, because the size of this sprite, we wanted it at 50%. But again, you could adjust it. You could have, you could have a character, you could do 25%, make them small. You could do 100 and make them huge if you want.
Well, I think one of your drafts, you had him start small in the background, and then you made him bigger, so it looked like he was zooming up, right?
Yeah, that was I was playing around with that. I probably should. I could have kept that in the demo. Actually, I did that on accident. But I guess I probably could have kept that in the demo as to demonstrate.
Whatever.
But you get the idea. So yeah, so if we go back to this, we will see. I wonder who I'll meet. Someone cool, maybe. And there he is. 10%, 100, 50. Great. All right. So we got Theodore back in here. And now we're going to get a choice up here. And this is how we format choices. So we've got, you can either do a plus sign or an asterisk. An asterisk allows the choice to be like repeated. So if you were in a loop situation and you wanted to like bring the same choice back up over and over again, you could do an asterisk. I just do the plus because usually you do a choice once in a game. So you do plus, and then you do brackets around the choice text. So in this case, we have yes, please, and we have nope, never. And then here we have formatted some things that happen if you choose yes, please. So Josh, you want to talk about what is happening here? If the player chooses yes, please, we have these things tabbed here. And so
and they don't have to be tabbed.
They don't have
care
to
about the formatting. It's nice to read that way.
That's right. Just easier to see what you're doing. But okay, so if you do yes, please. So what's happening here?
Right. So Gertrude has a line and she gets excited. I'd love to go on a date with you. And then Theodore says it's going to be the best date ever, and he gets excited. So we're just, same thing. We're not moving either of them. We're just changing the image. And then you are making love go up.
That's right. So so you do the little tilde, and then remember that variable we had here, love equals 0. This is love plus plus, meaning love goes up +1. It could also be, you could also write that as love equals love +1 if you wanted. But
making it go up by 1 is common enough that it has a shortcut.
That's right. How about this here? So this says image and then lady and then nothing, and then image and bro and then nothing. So what does that mean?
No, we're just telling those images to go away.
That's right. Yeah, we're just clearing the sprites. And then and then we're going to divert to evening, which is a new scene. So if you say, yes, please, it plays 2 lines of dialogue. It increases your love counter. Then it takes away the sprites and it sends you to the evening scene. If you do say nope, never, then there's some more dialogue. There's a different set of dialogue plays here. And then this is worth noting here. You can use HTML tags for the dialogue. So if you want to do like bold text, you could do B and then dash B, just like in HTML. You could do I, you could do I to make it italics. You could do some limited HTML styling in here. I wouldn't go nuts, right?
Yeah.
Or can I go nuts? How nuts can I go?
I mean, this is just setting it as HTML in the browser. I don't think you can't leave any tags open. You'd have to put everything that you open on the line would have to be closed. But other than that, I think it should just work.
You can do links.
Yep.
Though if you do, you have to format them in an interesting way.
Oh, because Ink thinks there's something else and it wants them to be Ink syntax instead of HTML, I think.
Yeah. So it's something like HTTP : and then you have to do like
Oh, you have to do a backslash before the slashes.
slant,
Maybe? No?
something like that. It's funny. Anyway, yeah, I guess I could pull that up real quick. Hold on here. Let's see.
Or we could leave it at, you can do some HTML, but don't go nuts with it.
Here. Oh yeah, here it is. I found it. You could do something like, you could do this.
Gotcha.
So this is how it's formatted. I actually had it right. It's like it's like a W shape. So this would make it a bold line with a link with a link too. So you could link out to a website or something like that. Now, if you do this run, then you're gonna play again. You're gonna go to the play again tag and to the play again scene. And basically that just pops up this thing here that says play again. And then it diverts to a scene called restart. And basically hashtag restart means that it's just going to start the game from the beginning. And then everything will be as it was. And in your template, in the template that we're building here, there's a power button right now that does the same thing. It pops up a little dialog box that says, do you want to restart the game? And then it also allows you to restart, which is cool. Okay, so then if we go say yes, then we go
to evening.
We go to the evening. That's right. And then we already know about this. We're setting up a new background BG event here. We're doing an audio file here. We play a little harp music as we heard. And then I'm just going to kind of skip down here. So this is all.
We know how that works, right?
We don't know how this works, but now this is interesting here. So as we saw in the template, you can sort of move the sprites on screen, right?
This is the part where they like tiptoe closer to each other.
That's right. Yes, things get romantic. And all we're doing here is just changing the number here. So whereas
she was at 90 and he was at 10.
Right. And so
she moves over a little to 80 and he moves over a little to 20.
Yep. 70, 30. So it just pushes them closer because that's the value. That first value represents where they are in the window. Side. That's right. So it's easy to like do a little animations like that to just pop people up. And I could imagine, for example, if you want to show like like a character like bouncing up and down, you could do that in the second value where it's 100. You could have it. You could have them going up. Oh, it's it's 90 or something, 80 or something like that. If you wanted. very limited little animations things that you could do. You could shrink a character from one line to another if you wanted, as we were talking about with this third value.
Which might actually be cool if you have multiple characters talking. Like they could fade into the background a little and then come forward as they're speaking. That could be kind of a cool little effect.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. So yeah, and then pretty much the same thing here. We got kiss, which leads to some dialogue, or don't, which leads to some dialogue and some shifting of where the sprites are. And then I added this here. So basically, if you choose the kiss, it adds another point to love. So now you would be at love plus plus. Here is a conditional line of dialogue. So basically, we're setting up a condition, which you do with an open bracket and a closed bracket here. And then for each condition, so for each if then kind of thing, we would do a line here. We do a little minus here to set it up. And then we say what the condition is. So in this case, I said if the love variable is greater than 1, then semicolon, do this line here. Gertrude, I think the two of us should really love each other. Love wins. But otherwise, so in this case, if love isn't greater than 1, if it's therefore 1 or 0, Gertrude, let's not even be friends. So she's angry at you. And then this would go. This ends the game, and it goes to play again. So yeah, are there any other features or any other things that people should know about the template, Josh, that you think that we haven't covered here that you think people should know?
I think that's about it. I did notice when you were playing, you were clicking on the arrows, and one thing we did do is you can press I think space. You can press a key, or you can click just sort of anywhere that's not touching anything to advance stuff forward sometimes.
That's right. Okay, so here we are. We're back at the top, and we said strip speaker tags to true. I'm not able to show it on Zoom. Basically, you go to a file in Inky, you go to export story.js only, and you're going to replace the story.js that's currently in there with a new one. So then when we load, we're going to reload the file here, the index.html. And now you can see that here, where it said narrator before, now it took those away. And as you were pointing out, I can just press enter to move forward. I don't have to click the arrow. I can just press enter or space bar to move the story forward. But for the links, you need to click. Nope, never. What? You're supposed to go in a day as part of this tutorial. Great. The end, and then it resets and starts from the beginning. Terrific. So yeah, so we've gone over everything.
I think that's everything.
Well, I'm going to stop sharing and put us on big for the first time, so you get a nice big look at our backgrounds and our faces. Josh, thank you for working with me both on Fix Your Mother's Printer and on making this template available to the public. I hope the folks at Super Festival and Hand-Eye Society and other folks around the world embrace this and use it as they see fit.
Yeah.
Josh, where can folks find you on the web?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I don't have a good. I mean, my itch is joshgrams.itch.io. That's probably, I have a bunch of little graphical games and a couple little live things, but yeah,
that's a place to find you on the web. And for me, it's my newsletter Adventure Snack, which you could get at adventuresnack.com. And every 2 weeks I post a new interactive fiction game, and a lot of them are made in ink. So you can see the possibilities of what you could do in ink, even in a short amount of time, by subscribing to Adventure Snack.
You could be a raccoon stealing cereal from children. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that?
You could be a spaceman stealing space diamonds. There's one movie where you have to be Bigfoot's your landlord, and you have to find Bigfoot in order to get your toilet fixed. So all kinds of adventures you can have at Adventure Snack. Terrific. Thank you so much, Josh, for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, take care, everybody.